The grand city of Elyria shimmered above the clouds, a beacon of opulence and technological splendor. Its golden spires reached toward the heavens, housing the wealthy elite who controlled the galaxy's most advanced tech. But beneath its gleaming facade, the underworld festered. The city's labyrinthine sewers stretched for miles, a forgotten realm of darkness where the unwanted and discarded were left to rot. Queen Aria of Elyria was no ordinary ruler. Known for her insatiable curiosity, she often disguised herself to explore the hidden corners of her empire. The royal advisors disapproved, but Aria insisted that true leadership meant understanding all levels of society, even the shadows. One fateful evening, during one of her clandestine excursions, Aria ventured deeper into the sewers than she ever had before. Her protective drone hovered silently behind her, illuminating the grimy walls and stagnant water. The air reeked of decay, and the distant echoes of skittering creatures set her on edge. It was then she heard a faint rhythmic tapping. Intrigued, she followed the sound until she stumbled upon a sight that stopped her in her tracks. A man, thin and pale, sat propped against the wall. His clothes were little more than rags, and his legs ended abruptly above the knees. The tapping came from his hands as he drummed idly on a metal pipe, his sunken eyes fixed on the darkness ahead. "Who are you?" Aria asked, her voice breaking the silence. The man flinched, his gaze snapping to her. For a moment he said nothing, then answered hoarsely, "Just another piece of trash the city forgot about." Aria stepped closer, her curiosity piqued. "How did you end up here?" He hesitated before replying. "Name's Kaelen. Used to be a worker in the lower districts. Lost my legs in an accident. One of those fancy Elyrian transport tubes malfunctioned. Compensation was, let's just say, non-existent. Couldn't afford prosthetics, so here I am." Aria's chest tightened. She had heard whispers of corruption in the lower districts, but had never confronted its reality until now. "You don't have to stay here," she said softly. Kaelen let out a bitter laugh. "And go where? People like me don't belong up there." He gestured upward with a grimy hand. Aria knelt beside him, her mind racing. This man had been cast aside by the very system she presided over. She couldn't undo the past, but perhaps she could change his future. "I can help you," she said firmly. "Come with me." Kaelen eyed her skeptically. "Why would you help someone like me?" Aria met his gaze, her disguise hiding her identity, but not her resolve. "Because you deserve better." Kael's journey to the upper city was surreal. Aria smuggled him through hidden routes, ensuring he wouldn't be noticed. When they finally emerged in her private laboratory, a sprawling chamber filled with cutting-edge tech and glowing consoles, Kaelen was overwhelmed. Where are we?" he stammered. "My home," Aria replied simply. "I'm going to give you new legs." Kaelen stared at her, disbelief etched on his face. "Why would you do that?" "Because I can," Aria said, "and because no one should be discarded like you were." For the next few weeks, Kaelen underwent extensive treatment. Aria's team of trusted engineers and medics, sworn to secrecy, worked tirelessly to prepare him for the prosthetics. The new legs weren't just replacements. They were a marvel of Elyrian technology, designed to be stronger and faster than natural limbs. Throughout the process, Kael's bitterness began to melt away. He was wary at first, suspicious of Aria's motives, but her unwavering kindness and determination slowly won him over. He shared stories of his life in the lower districts, painting a vivid picture of the struggles faced by those the upper city ignored. Aria listened intently, her guilt growing with every word. The day of the operation arrived. Kaelen lay on the operating table, his heart pounding as the medics prepared him. Aria stood nearby, her presence a comforting anchor. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice trembling. Arya smiled. I've never been more sure of anything. The procedure was long and grueling, but when Kael finally woke, he felt whole. His new legs gleamed with a polished silver finish, the joints moving seamlessly as he flexed them for the first time. They're incredible, he breathed, his voice thick with emotion. Arya beamed. Welcome to your new life, Kael. Adjusting to his prosthetics wasn't easy, but Kael was determined. Arya stayed by his side, guiding him through the rehabilitation process. They grew closer, their shared experiences forging a bond neither had anticipated. As Kael regained his mobility, he began to dream of a future he had long thought impossible. He wanted to return to the lower districts, not as a victim, but as a force for change. Inspired by Arya's compassion, he vowed to fight for those who had been left behind, just as she had fought for him. You've given me more than legs, he told her one evening. You've given me purpose. Kael's transformation didn't go unnoticed. Rumors began to spread of a mysterious man with mechanical legs who was rallying the lower districts. He spoke of unity, of bridging the gap between the upper city and the forgotten underworld. His passion ignited a movement, and soon the neglected masses began to rise, demanding the attention of Elyria's elite. Arya, still disguised, attended one of Kael's rallies in secret. She watched with pride as he addressed the crowd, his voice steady and confident. We've been cast aside for too long, he declared, but we are not powerless. Together, we can create a city where no one is forgotten. The crowd erupted into cheers, their hope rekindled. Kael's efforts eventually drew the attention of the royal court. The advisors were outraged, demanding that the so-called agitator be silenced. But Arya refused. She revealed her involvement, shocking the court with the truth. This man is not our enemy, she said firmly. He is the wake-up call Elyria needs. Her revelation sparked controversy, but it also forced the elite to confront the reality they had ignored for so long. Under Arya's leadership, reforms were enacted, channeling resources to the lower districts and creating opportunities for all citizens. Kael became a symbol of hope, his story a testament to the power of compassion and resilience. And though he remained in the lower districts, working tirelessly to uplift his people, he and Arya maintained a deep connection. You changed my life, he told her during one of their rare private moments. And you changed mine, she replied. Years later, Elyria was a city transformed. The divide between the upper and lower districts had begun to heal, and the sewers where Kael had once languished were now a symbol of the city's progress, a reminder of how far they had come. Kael stood on a balcony overlooking the bustling streets below, his mechanical legs gleaming in the sunlight. Arya joined him, her regal presence tempered by the warmth in her eyes. Think we did enough? He asked. Arya smiled. We started something that will outlive us both. As they stood side by side, the city stretched out before them, a testament to their shared journey. Together, they had proven that even the most broken among them could rise, and that kindness, when wielded with courage, could change the world.